Hi everyone, I'm Karen Robinson from littlepaperparty.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, and today I have another little Valentine treat box to share with you, which is this one, and yeah, we will get right into it and get started. Okay, so the box I'm making today is really tiny, but you can still fit a few little treaties in there. The finished size is 2 inches wide by 1.5 deep and by 1 inch high. And the great thing about this is it only needs a 4 inch by 6 inch piece of DSP, which means you can make 6 of these from 112 by 12 sheet, which is great because that is very economical and no waste, and that's what I love, and no leftover pieces if we can make as many as possible. The paper that I am using is the From My Heart DSP specialty paper. This is retired, but as of when I'm recording this video, which is the 20th of January 2021, it's on the clearance rack in Australia. It may not be on the clearance rack in other countries because it varies what's in country to country, but it's on the clearance rack and it's currently $10. It was originally $25, but you can use any paper pack you like, but I have this in my stash and it's a great way to use it up. But if you would like some cheaper paper, then check out the clearance rack and pick some up. So anyway, let's get started. So to start off with, like I said, you just need a 4 by 6 inch piece of DSP. And just a quick note, the only thing to consider is perhaps if you are using, if I flip it over the other side, a pattern with an orientation. If you do have a pattern that has a definite orientation, so you don't want it being sideways and stuff, then make sure you cut your paper so that it's going to be in the right orientation on the 4 inch side. So yes, not the 4 inch side. So if it's right on the shorter side, then it will be fine, because this is what will actually make this part of the box. Okay, I'm trying to think of words to explain something that's really basic, but yes, just check your orientation first. So I am using stripes, so I could have these either way, but I did want mine running vertically, so that's why I've purposely, when I did cut my paper down, I cut it so that the stripes were running vertically on the 4 inch side. So I'm going to grab the Simply Scored, and then I'm going to pop it in with the 4 inch side at the top. And I am going to score it at 1 inch, and then I'm going to score it, I'm going to flip it around 180 degrees, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch on the other side. Now you can score it at 1 and 3. The reason I am turning it around is this is going to make the sides of my boxes. So if for some reason I have just not quite cut this perfectly perfect, which happens to me a lot, it won't matter. This side will be 1 inch and this side will be 1 inch. And if this in the middle varies at all, any variation, I can handle being in the middle, but I really want the sides to be as even as possible, to be the same as possible, because it will come together better and it will sit better. And then I'm turning it to the 6 inch side after all that, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch, 2.5 inches, 3.5 inches, and then I'm also going to flip it and I'm going to score it at 1 inch again for the same reason. So if I've cut it slightly off, it won't matter, because all of my sides are now going to be 1 inch. So I'm going to fold and burnish on my score lines. You can cut first, fold and burnish afterwards, doesn't really matter. But as I've chosen a stripy pattern, of course I've chosen something I can't see very well, I will fold and burnish first, and that will just give me some extra visuals to follow when I do come to trim. Alright, so really simple box, simple kind of pizza style box. So it's just going to fold around like this. So with the 4 inch side, so we're going to trim along these sides here, basically. We're going to trim on the 6 inch side. I'll find my words. I'm going to trim up, and I am going to wedge all these in. And I just remembered I actually have a template for this, which I should have gotten out. So I can show you what I'm doing. The problem is once I turn all my lights on, I can't see anything. And I know my videos aren't particularly bright, so that's just really sad. So I'm just snipping up to that first score line. Do that on one side and then we'll do it on the other. So if you have made paper crafts a lot, especially little bags and boxes, you've probably made this style of box before. It's a really simple, you know, fold over pizza style of box. But it's amazing how it's just fussing around with the dimensions, and so you get to change the sizes and bigger, smaller, that kind of stuff, and changing out the paper and embellishments. It just changes it up all the time and makes it look a little bit different. So pick which part you want to be the front. So oops, it's going to fold over. Okay, actually I did this reminds me, I did this on the original. So I just picked one to be the front, and then I realized the inside was upside down, my heart. So this one is upside down. So I'll be clever and I'll choose this as the front this time. And then just grab a little circle punch. This is a 1/2 inch circle punch. This is retired, we don't sell this anymore, but any little circle punch will do, and just center it as best you can. We're just taking out a notch, which will just help make opening it a little bit easier. Then we're going to assemble the box. So I used a combination of tear and tape. Sorry, I just like now I'm trimming this, I can see that's a weird shaped wedge. A tear and tape, and I did use a little bit of Tombow as well, so, but it doesn't really require too much. So I have just a pair of scrappy scissors that I like to use for sticky things, and I just use them for cutting sticky things like tape and stuff, and that way it doesn't matter if they get sticky. I'm not ruining, you know, good scissors. So I'm going to put all the tape on everything. I actually can't see my score line, so that's why I'm feeling. And I'll assemble the back first, and then I'll assemble the front. So one thing that's great about tear and tape, because it's double-sided, doesn't matter if I've gone over, say here in a couple of places, because I can just roll those back in on itself. And it won't lose any of its stickiness. So I am going to add, so you could definitely add more tear and tape. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to add a little dot, so I don't have these loose flaps flapping around. So probably the most important part is lining up your sides and making sure that they are square as best as you can. And put tape over there. So I am in Queensland, which I'm in subtropical part of Queensland, so it's hot here. So I do have my fan going, my overhead fan going. So if you see random bits of paper flying across the table, that's all that is. Yeah, because it's just hot here. Great. So I'm creating the bottom of my box first. And then I'm just going to put the top together in exactly the same way. Or the lid, whatever you want to call it. I need to come up with some sort of little chatter or patter or something. So, it's very quiet. I'm concentrating very hard. We'll see if it works anyway. Because sometimes I don't know, but I've made a project and I've put it together and it's like, why isn't this working this time? It worked perfectly last time. Alright, and that, just clear the mess away, that is the basic box. Really, really simple, just folds over and closes up. like that, beautifully. So these style boxes, because of how they do close, they will flare out a little bit on the sides. Sometimes the bigger the box, sometimes the more noticeable that is. It's not too bad on this one. Oh, I've got a bit of glue there somehow, but anyway. But we're going to tie a ribbon around it anyway, so it won't matter. So that will pull it in and it'll look really nice. So a couple of things before we go fancying it up and trying to make it look special. I finally remembered to find some yummies this time. Let's see what can fit in here. So a couple of things I did have that will fit in here. These are Mentos Minis. So you can fit 2 of those in there. I don't think you can fit 3. It's not quite high enough. But a couple of those. I found some Hershey's Kisses. I haven't tried these, so I don't know how many can fit in here. What's that? 5? You could probably fit 6 in there actually, if you actually like pack them in properly, which I haven't done. But yeah, so that's pretty nice, isn't it? Yeah, if I fussed around and packed those in properly, I reckon you could fit 6 in there, but definitely 5. And some other things that I have in my little stash. So I keep a little stash of yummies that it's hard to keep my family out of. These are Hershey's miniatures. So let's see. Oh, they will stand up. I can fit 4 at least. Oh, sorry, I can't count. 3. 3 at least, possibly 4. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you can fit 4 of those in there. They fit really, really nicely, actually. So those are just a few ideas, a few suggestions. The Mentos are readily available here. I think these I found in Aldi in Australia, and the Hershey miniatures I have seen occasionally in some Coles and some Woolies carry them. They have like a section with things from other countries, and a couple of other things. I guess you could always find some smaller wrapped lollies. I only happen to have minties, and you could put some of those in there. Not very Valentine's-y, but you know, it's all right if we tuck the little things down. We could fit a few minches in there, but any small kind of wrapped lollies, just as an example. So it doesn't hold too much, but that's good. If you do need to make a lot, then it doesn't need too much to put in it. All right, let's decorate this and make it look a little bit more special. Okay, so what I have done is I chose this stamp set, which is called Lots of Heart, which is from the current January-June mini catalogue, and it is available. You can buy it as a bundle, so you can buy the stamps and die set together. And the die set is called Many Hearts Dies. Even though I have a couple of like hearts dies, I really like this one. It's just got some different hearts that I don't have and I would like to add to my stash. So what I used out of this, there's no stamping whatsoever on this. I'm just showing you, you can buy this as a bundle and then you will save 10% off the total price. But I only used the dies for this particular stamp set. So I used this outline heart and this pierced heart, which adds this lovely little piercing detail to it. And I wanted a little bit, I did want a sentiment, but it's because it's so small, I was, what can I choose? So then I went back to my old favorites, which are the Playful Alphabet dies, which are in the annual catalogue, and I just cut a 4 and then the U, so for you, so nice and small, and it fit on there perfectly. And then for a little bit of something extra, I decided to grab out the poinsettia dies. These were in the previous catalogue. I want to say holiday catalogue, but I know it's not that, but the Christmas, that had all the Christmas stuff in it, and these are carrying over, so they are still available if you didn't get that stamp set and die. So yeah, which is great because these are really versatile. And then I used one of the little foliage images from that, and I die cut it out of silver foil and vellum just to add a little something. Sorry. Talking too much and getting croaky. And then, so to close my box, I decided to use this glittered organdy ribbon. This is so pretty. This is one of my favorites. The glitter will shed on this. If you don't like that, then you might want to choose something else, but I don't mind it too much. So obviously you would fill your box. Well, you don't have to. You fill your box if you want to, depending on how tight you want to do, and grab your ribbon, just eyeball it, pair of scissors, and we'll just cut off a length. So I kept putting mine together, the pudding of mine together, really simple. So I did want a reasonable overlap, and I know I'm going to be hiding it with my embellishment, and I just used a little snip of tear and tape. I'm just going to put that on one end. So even though this is like a mesh, I didn't find the tear and tape, and this is double-sided, it didn't come through. It's not sticky on this side at all, which is great. So it does easily slide on and off my box, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to remove the backing, pop it on. So I'm going to pop it on towards, because this is where I'm putting my heart, towards this side, and then a little bit more. And then I'm just going to bring my ribbon over, and I want it firm, but I do want it to be able to slide on and off. And then just adhere that round, and then snip off any excess. And all of this will be covered with my embellishment. So you could definitely have it so that was underneath, but I thought I can put that on and then you're not going to see that at all. So hopefully this will slide on and off well enough. Oh, it's a little bit tight, but anyway, we'll make it work. So for my embellishment, so I showed you all the dies that I had used to create it, and then I have all my bits here. So I've already assembled part of it. So I just used Tombow just to adhere my foil number and letter, and I used a little bit of Tombow just behind just on this little bit here, because I do want these loose. I want them to be able to just kind of ping up and be a little bit dimensional, because I like what that adds to what is a really, really simple design box. And then to put this together, I just kind of put this on here and fussed about with it for a little bit and popped this behind and thought, oh, where do I want that to be? How do I want that to look? Yes, I like that. And this is where, if you don't have reverse tweezers, then you should definitely get yourself some. They're great. It's extra finger. And then I did use some glue dots to pop that on, just to keep that in place. You could use glue or whatever you would like, but I just used glue dots. So where I thought I would be able to hide them. So I know I'm going to have one right on this here. Actually, I might even just use one glue dot, just to adhere that in place. So I do want mine overhanging a little bit, so just move all that out of the way. I'm going to change the angle just a little bit. And then how I adhered this, because I did want it so that the ribbon, it could slide off, so you could open it and you could reclose it. You will find probably your ribbon will loosen a little bit, so even though this is pretty tight, it probably will loosen once I move it back and forth a little bit. I used just some mini dimensionals. So I'm just trying to find my paper piece. And the easiest way I found was just to put it onto the strip of ribbon. And that way, rather than putting it onto the back of the heart and trying to make, because I've got it, you know, on a bit of an angle, and that way, you know, I didn't have to worry about it getting exactly on the ribbon. So if I've just put it on the ribbon to start with, I can just pop my heart over the top. Ouch! I'm just knocking my hand on things. All right, and then just see how I want it, a little bit of a jaunty angle, and pop it on. And that was it. I added one final thing, which is totally optional, because I mentioned in my last video that I really love these little embellishments, the resin heart embellishments. So I'm really loving the red ones. I like them all, but I thought I need to use some of these white ones, and I thought this particular paper, they would work really well. Oopsie daisy. Just throw them around. So my thing's in a slightly different orientation this time, but that's okay. So these have a little glue dot on the back. I just might add, whoops, just a couple, just there. There we go. And that's it, just a little bit of embellishment. These are really cute. They don't hold too much, but I did give you a few ideas. They hold enough for a little treat, and these are really sweet. So yeah, a cute little thing. I don't know, I might have to find something nice to maybe give to my mum and to my brother, so for Valentine's Day. Well, that is it today. That is this quick and easy project, and the great thing is that you can get 6 from 1 12 by 12 inch piece of paper, which is really good, very economical, and there's no waste. So that's all for today, and I will see you next time with another Valentine's Day project. Bye.